Welcome, welcome everyone. Good to see some new faces. We are going to go ahead and get started. We know that people sometimes join a little bit late, but we want to make sure that we're using your time as efficiently as possible. So my name is Sarah McAllister. I am the Senior Associate Director for Career and Professional Development for our alumni office. And Nina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey y'all, I'm Nina. I'm the assistant director of the same area that Sarah's in, and I will be all things tech today. So I'll be making the breakout sessions and all that kind of stuff. So if you have trouble like finding it or anything, just let me know and I've got you.
Perfect. So before we introduce Swati, I want to just go over a few kind of housekeeping things for you all to know. So this is being recorded in the general room is going to be recorded. We are going to have some breakout sessions and those will not be recorded. But just so you know, this will be recorded and then put onto our YouTube channel. So we have over 75 PDS sessions that are on the YouTube channel. Nina will drop the link in the chat. So if you're not familiar with it, check it out, subscribe if you want to get notified for future recordings. And it's topics on anything under the umbrella of career and professional development. So if you, Swati actually just did one 2 weeks ago on LinkedIn for healthcare professionals. It was amazing. I would encourage you to check that out if you want some tips on just beefing up or building out your LinkedIn profile, as well as we have lots of different other topics. So with that, if you have any tech issues, direct message Nina. And I'm just really excited. Swati and Nina and I have been working together for a little bit now. And every time I just talked to her and she did the presentation 2 weeks ago, I just learned a ton and I know you will too. So again, this is going to be interactive and learning. But with that, I'm going to hand it over to you, Swati. Thank you for being here and love to introduce yourself and then take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah and Nina. I'm so excited to be here. Everybody, my name is Swati Shah. I am a physician who finished her residency at Tulane in 1999, School of Medicine, Obstetrics and Gynecology. And then I went back and did a master's in public health. And then I've worked in the pharmaceutical industry. And I'm here today to talk to you about what's your elevator pitch? Who is it? What is it? And why do you have one? And the follow-up, it's so important. So first, I'm going to just discuss a little bit about what it is, define it, and if I can get, there we go. So why do you need an elevator pitch? Well, there's always a challenge of presenting yourself. Who am I? What am I? Why am I doing this? And that first picture is actually my first event I had from my Business Plans Connect. But one of the things I really want to emphasize is sometimes when you're in a period of transition, or maybe you're in a job that you need to present yourself, and you really need to be genuine. And if you want to make a change in your career, if you truly want to make a big change, you've got to learn to tolerate the in between time. It's that period in which you just kind of let go so you can allow for the possibility of who you can become. And when you give your elevator pitch, it's not the journey of becoming anything, it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you. So you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. And that's what the first little picture that's hard to see says. So, so what is an elevator pitch? Let's define it. It's your eloquent introduction. It's your verbal calling card. It's where you say, "Hi, I'm so excited to see you at this neighborhood event. We've been neighbors for years and I've never had a chance to really spend time talking to you. So this is great. And now we can talk some more and catch up on things going on in our neighborhood, all the stolen packages on the porch." Um, and so there's your intentional opening statement. That's an authentic greeting. It's a compelling purpose. Like you have a common shared interest. That is your reason for connecting. Another definition of the elevator pitch. This is a demonstration of your passion to gain their trust. When you're pitching yourself to a new potential boss, a new hiring manager, you don't even know yet there's a job, but you meet someone and you think, oh my God, I really want to work for them. you do it. You want to demonstrate your passion because you really care about something and you're driven to it. You're going to promise the value that you bring, provide proof of your accomplishments, and pass the baton and engage back in return. So, for example, I really believe in networking and I believe I have a passion and a skill for connecting people. I can connect people and I've done it with connecting farmers to restaurants. I've connected physicians with researchers. And now I'm here to hear from you and hear back what you can do and exchange in return. And that's what we're going to do on today's call today. Another way to think of the elevator pitch outline, remember the elevator pitch came from the idea of if you're in an elevator and you have 10 seconds, 15 seconds, what are you going to say to get their attention? You need a teaser, a headline, a body, and the closer. That's important. Don't forget it. So the teaser is, hey, so good to see you today. I haven't seen you in a while. Or it could be, it could be anything from, really nice suit. What, do you have a special meeting today? That's your hook line. And, you can go from there. The headline is what you want to talk about. The body is the meat of the conversation, and the closers. Yeah, let's follow up on that. I'll send you an email and we'll get caught up later. Always keep it simple and short. Sometimes you literally only have 10 seconds and you have to shine. So you change whatever you say to target your audience. You keep that hook line to get their attention, and it changes. It changes on the environment, it changes on your audience, it just changes all around. So we're going to do some breakout sessions where we have 3 different scenarios. And depending on how many people are on the call, we're going to do small groups with only 3 people in a group. I want every one of you to practice scenario 1. Just practice that one. How would you introduce yourself at the summer neighborhood barbecue or summer neighborhood picnic, end of the summer, whatever, some sort of event where you're meeting your neighbors or community people. And then we'll have 8 minutes for this discussion. And then hopefully we can have at least one person who is willing out of that group to share their personal example, and we will record it. So this is a safe space. This is a practice zone. There's no judgment. We all have to give each other supportive team feedback. And in your 3-person groups, you'll have an opportunity to even pitch your own elevator pitch to each other, just to think about who you are when you say, hi, I'm Swati. This is what I do. I'm so glad to see you. I'm a Tulane alum. Like, what made you join the call today? So we'll do that. And then we'll come back and we'll have you present after the 8 minutes. And then we'll do the second scenario, 8 minutes, and then come back and present. And then we'll do the third scenario and have a volunteer. And we may not be able to get to every group every time. So hopefully some of you will volunteer. And then after we come back, we'll talk about the conclusion. And so, all right, ready to go back and break out? And first scenario, neighborhood barbecue. All right, thanks.
I just opened all the rooms.
Well, go ahead. If you're volunteering to share your elevator pitch, that's what this is about.
Well, first of all, I appreciate that. You're putting me on the spot. I really, but I think our target was a barbecue, but my elevator pitch, as I was telling the guys, is I'm a 37-year product developer who is very involved in emerging tech. I use the human body, powerful battery, and a mild electric current for a never before seen health and wellness benefits for consumer products. And I've been doing this for a long time. So I've got a few new products out and I'd love to show them to you when you get a chance or set up a meeting.
Cool. So who would that target audience be? That was a very targeted pitch.
Right. So that's a targeted pitch to maybe an investor, possibly somebody that's into, some consumer products company. I've got 3 products on the market. So, I mean, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I generally I was telling the guys, I try to get my elevator pitch below a minute before, below 45 seconds, because usually you don't have the time to even give somebody a minute, and you really got to hone in on some really good points. So generally, for me, it's companies that are looking for an emerging tech, and I might have something, or to an investor, of course, who's looking to back me.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing. So true that it has to be targeted and to the point. Otherwise, you're going to lose their attention and you probably don't even have much time. So, all right. Any volunteer from the other group? I think we only had 2 breakout rooms. It's okay if we don't. We can break out again for the back to school fall get together, or is it only 6 of us on the call right now? I can't tell how many people we have on, but
We've got 5 for like breakouts. So we could do one with 2 and one with 3.
okay, perfect. Yeah. So let's it doesn't so I would like everybody to think about how do you introduce yourself when you're in a back to school fall get together? Think about whether it's university, a work setting, doesn't matter, but think about different audiences and how do you pitch yourself. So just twist it up, even if it's your kid's school or your university or anything, but just make it a different, or any kind of fall get together, just something different. Like, how would you make your pitch after the summer has ended? And then we'll be back in 8 minutes and we'll take a volunteer again. We won't pick on you again. Ken, was it? So yeah, we won't put you on the spot, but hopefully we'll get another volunteer from the other group.
I guess I can give it a shot.
Great.
All right, well, it's great to be back on campus. My name is Max Goldberg. I studied biology and human behavior here through a master's program in neuroscience at Tulane, and it was during my education that I discovered a passion for data analytics and providing data-driven insights to organizations that strive to improve well-being. So I currently work as a senior risk adjustment and data validation analyst at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, where I really enjoy driving our team's strategy. I always enjoy discussing all things data-driven and data analytics, and especially in healthcare, to drive improved well-being for patients. So if you have anyone who has similar interests, I'd love to make a connection and continue this conversation.
Nice. This is great. Yeah. How do you feel about it, Max?
It's good to kind of put yourself out there. It's the best way to hone your skills. So it's been great practice so far.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and you know, your audience as it changes, your pitch changes, right? So if you find yourself at some random, well, our next scenario, if you find yourself at a cocktail party with a friend or a significant other and you're talking to a bunch of investment bankers and financial advisors or something, you know, that crowd, you can tailor it and say, hey, I work for your well-being, you know, and you can even adjust your pitch to target their audience and say, look what I can do for you. Or have you considered a consultant for my kind of work? Maybe not you directly, but you know, for your company clients or whatever, you know. However you want to twist it, and I'll, you know, find a hook to get their attention. So great job. Any other questions or comments from anyone else? Okay, then we'll go on to the last breakout room, and then I'll follow up with a few minutes of discussion on the conclusion and follow-up plan. So cocktail party for the holidays, you're going to be with random people. It might be your partners, coworkers. It might be your parents, neighbors. It could just be random people. How are you going to introduce yourself and how are you going to make it meaningful? It's not necessarily a sales call, but you know, you might meet some really cool and amazing people. You know, maybe Mark Zuckerberg will be there, or you know, Melinda Gates. And what are you going to say? All right, breakout.
There we go.
Stop. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our third scenario discussion. Anybody want to volunteer what their elevator pitch would have been at a cocktail party? No volunteers yet?
Yeah. Hi. I'm having some issues, but yes, whatever. I am open to volunteer.
Okay, go
Yeah.
for it. Tell us your elevator pitch. How would you introduce yourself introduce yourself to us at a holiday party?
Hi, I am Ruben. I am a research scientist at University of Pennsylvania. I work in dementia, and maybe many of you have experienced uh, Alzheimer's or any sort of dementia patients in your family or something. I'm very passionate about the well-being of patients so that they can get the best medical aid uh, and I would like to leverage my skills so that I can help these people, these patients. So I want to be an aspiring, so I want to be an MSL, medical science liaison, to provide information to healthcare professionals about patient care, clinical research, and research and development of any pharmaceutical or biotech companies.
Awesome. Great job.
Thank you.
So yeah, that was a lot.
Yes.
You don't have to say everything, but it was great that you got it all together. Anybody else have any other feedback? It's a safe space, no judgment.
I thought he was great. It's not easy talking in front of people, and Ruben was in my first group, and I thought he did great. I also want to say, give a shout out to Jeannie and Max, who was in both of my last breakout rooms, and we really had a lot of fun at our cocktail party.
Oh, excellent. I'm glad to hear it. This is great. So I'm really glad to hear this. And Sarah, Nina, and I were discussing that we like that it's a small group. That way there's more time to network. So we've kind of gone through all this, and I think we've already done this. I'm going to cover briefly a conclusion and follow-up plan. We only have like 7 minutes left. So what do you do afterwards? You can connect via email, you can send a text or a message on LinkedIn. If it's the hostess of or a host of an actual physical party, like you went to someone's home for dinner, you could even handwrite a small thank you note and put it in the mail if that's who you want to connect with. Follow up on anything you discussed. If you talked about, hey, let's set up a one-on-one next week to talk about, then yeah, set up the meeting if appropriate. You don't always have to wait for, oh, this day is good. You can use Calendly. You can use, if you have shared calendars, you can look for availability, or you can just propose, hey, I'm free Wednesday at 4 p.m. Can I meet you for a coffee if it's in the same town? Or do you have time for a virtual meeting at the end of your workday? And if you don't have anything to follow up, but you want your face to stay on their radar, just write a simple thank you and say, hey, it was great meeting you at that networking event, and I hope to stay in touch. Don't have to say more than that. In New Orleans here, I joined the Chamber of Commerce last summer, which is part of what inspired me to create my business. I got so tired of meeting investment bankers, financial advisors, and real estate agents. I said, where's all my science geeks? We need to have a way for us to connect. And but I didn't say no to all those other industries. I just said, thank you, nice meeting you. I've met some interesting business people along the way. And you just never know what you're going to learn. Sometimes it's fun to talk to a financial advisor at a happy hour about, like, well, what's the stock market doing today? just to see what they have to say, And one thing in particular, late is better than never. My very first pilot event that I had for networking for my business last October, it took me several weeks to get out a post-event evaluation survey, but I did end up with 7 responses, which is pretty good considering I had about 30 people attend. And, that's more than 20%. And at least it put it on their mind and they knew that I was going forward with things. So there's many ways to conclude and follow up, but always have some sort of follow up. And speaking of follow-up, I just want to say thank you all for attending today. I'd like to open it up for questions, but let you know that you have many options. One is I'm offering this workshop for polishing your LinkedIn in person at the Tulane Alumni House. And if everybody wants to share their LinkedIn profile in the chat, I'll look at it and follow up with everybody, or Nina can copy it and then I'll reach out to all of you. You can also email me at swathijshaw@plansconnect.org, and I can add you to my newsletter that comes out every 2 months or so. It's actually hard to produce one in a timely manner more than that. And then you can also connect with me and follow my company page or my personal page. But I have an Instagram, a LinkedIn, and a Facebook under Plans Connect. And I'm also hosting some national events as well as local New Orleans events on Eventbrite. So if you use the Eventbrite app on your phone and you follow Plans Connect, like you can follow the museum or the music venue, you can follow my business, and then you'll see when I post an event. And there's many ways to stay in touch. I thank you all for attending. And let me just let's see, I'm going to go to the chat and oh, did I lose the chat? I thought I saw a button for it. Nope.
There should be a button on the bottom, Swati. And I also just want to say, if all of you share your LinkedIn's, I'll share them in an email with all of the registrants for today, because some people emailed and couldn't make it. And that way you guys can connect with those people and just, do some networking and stuff like that.
So I have a question for Swati. I put my LinkedIn in and I invite you guys to check it out. I've got an interesting product, as I told you guys. So I'm always open to critique. I thought Max and Jeannie gave me some really good feedback on what I did. But Swati, I have a question for you. I am out there. I go to a lot of trade shows. I've got this emerging tech, and when I connect on LinkedIn with people, whether I do InMail, whatever I do, I always feel like emails, LinkedIn, people just are so swamped. They don't reply. Either they are too busy. My question to you is, if you are at that cocktail party, that barbecue, that back to school, I usually now am asking for people's literally for their cell phone if I can get it, or their number, because if I have that, at least if I have the guts to text them, at least they will, if I'm invasive by going to their direct personal text, they'll say I'm not interested. But at least I know when I text somebody, I'm going to get feedback. If I throw an email out there after an event, and even though how great it is, it's like I barely get a reply. And that is very frustrating. So I'm throwing that back at you if you feel
No, you're really right. I agree with you, actually. I didn't talk about it in this card, but I have a digital contact card, and I also have Blink. I don't use the Blink contact card as often, but I often exchange contacts directly and then I send a text right away. But if the other person doesn't respond, then I don't always remember who I wrote a text to. So it is a two-way street, but you're absolutely right that exchanging cell numbers on the spot is most effective. And for those of you who have smartphones, you put the phones together and you can airdrop your contacts if you have a contact card. And it's so easy. It's the sweetest thing in the world. But not everybody has a contact card developed. I have mine, and I finally had to eliminate, like, you can pick which fields. You don't have to share your home address.
Yeah, I have mine too. I have, well, I can't see it. Mine's on Blur, but I have a
Yeah, yeah.
contact card. I think they're fantastic. And your contact card, when you give it to somebody, like Swati just said, I have a thing where they have to fill out their phone number and give me their info right away.
Yeah, there's many ways to do it. I mean, I have physical contact cards, but what I meant is there's an app on here called Blink, and you can there's many
Mine's Mobilo. Mine's Mobilo.
yeah, there's many on there, and yeah, that's a whole nother discussion we could have another day. So thank you for joining. I don't want to keep anybody over. It's 1 p.m. Central Time. I really appreciate the feedback, especially Ken. Thank you. And everybody who volunteered, really thank you all for coming.